Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. All right. Peace and love. It's been a minute since I went live, and actually, this is my first time going live on IG. So, hope you all are having a great day. I'm just trying to share live with my other platforms before I get started talking about what I'm gonna be talking about. Let's see. All right. Let's go. Hopefully, everybody having a great Sunday and everything. Man, it's beautiful weather out here in Chicago and whatnot, man. And um, unfortunately, we know sometimes what that leads to a lot of senseless violence and whatnot. And, for those who do not know, this time last year, um, I lost my son to the senseless violence in the community here in Chicago. And this new thing that young people tend to do, um, they mock the dead. And, as a parent, that's something that you never want to see. You never want to see. First of all, you don't want nothing to happen to your child. Number one, um, but to not only deal with the pain and the hurt that goes with that, but also to see young people that think they are each other's ops or opposition, to see them mocking the death of your child, it could be very hurtful. Now, it did not bother me, right? Because I'm already aware of how they handle themselves and how they conduct themselves, and um, really feel bad for people that um, they are hurt so bad that they try to do things to rub it in your face and make you feel even worse while you're going through a trying time like that. So um, I woke up this morning and to see that one of the mockers of my son is no longer with us, you know. And you talking about a numbing feeling. Um, See, I understand what'll make you laugh will make you cry as well, you know. And while I can say that I don't take no joy in his demise, I'm numb, you know. I'm numb to it. So um, something I've been working on for a while, trying to come up with solutions to the issues in our communities. Um, can y'all hear me out there? Let me make sure y'all tapped in. Let me know if you can hear me or not. But you know, coming up with solutions and working with men in our communities to try to make things better in our communities. To help the young people that want to be helped. And there's a lot of young people don't have fathers. There's a lot of young people that don't have men in their lives. You know, they're not privy to wise counsel from men, from stand-up men. And that's a lot of us. It's a lot of men in this country who could and should give back to these young people, those who want to be helped. And then still try to reach those who right now are still stuck in their confused states. So I'm going to start doing, a few years ago, I was doing these man cave meetings. I would do them on Mondays. I'm not sure exactly which day I want to do them. It probably will be on Mondays again, but I want to start getting together with men, Black men, in an effort to come up with some solutions, some things that we could do. See, we could always talk about our problems. We know the issues. We talked ourselves crazy on social media, you know, beating keyboards and whatnot. And I don't engage in those fruitless conversations. You know, everybody wants to be deep and super duper conscious and whatnot, but that ain't gonna do nothing for the conditions in our communities. That ain't gonna do nothing that's gonna stop what's going on in our communities. You know, here it is. You have our people that was once enslaved in this country, and at the dawn of the Reconstruction era, after we were emancipated from our slave state that we were in, enslaved state that we were in, we didn't have no money. When we left those plantations, we didn't have no education, you know, nor was there a federal commitment to public education, right? We had no protection under the law. There was no way we could get credit from banks. At that time, the only thing we had was God, and we had each other. And so I made a post earlier today that had these umbrellas, and top of the umbrella, it said Christ. Underneath that, it was the husband and the wife. And it had some of the attributes that a husband should have: provide, protect his family. And then it had for the women, it had that the wife, she should create a stable home for the children, rear the children. The mother is the first teacher of her children, or should be. You know, and I got kind of some pushback. Somebody wanted to have a discussion about what happened thousands of years ago in Africa. Man, listen, that shit ain't gonna do us no good today. Our babies out here killing each other. How the hell I want to talk about what happened thousands of years ago in Africa? See, that's the problem. Is too many people talking and sitting on here intellectually masturbating with themselves, trying to sound deep. But that ain't gonna solve what's going on in our communities. What are we going to do about it? It seems like Black men are afraid to unite. I can't call it no other way, right? This whole pissing contest that everybody seems to have going against each other, you know, we've gotten to a place now where we view each other as the ops. Black men, we view each other as the enemy. We view each other as competition. You know, I got mine, you get yours. And This mentality is contributing to a lot of the foolishness that's going on in our communities, because all we're doing is sitting around, you know, competing with one another, not realizing that however you raise your children, you can raise your children on the straight and narrow. They still have to go out into the community with other people's children who may not be raising their children the same way that you're raising yours. And then what happens is your children end up following a lot of the ways of others. They stray away. So what are we going to do? We're just going to sit around and talk about, how bad the youth is. Listen, they are a reflection of us. I hear and I see people who live through these eras who know how we could reflect and look back at the mistakes that we made with our music, with our movies, with the gaming. I remember the games came out. What was that? I don't even know the name of this, but it was some movie that the kids was going out here carjacking and killing people and things like that. Now look at what's happening in Chicago now. We have an epidemic of young people out here carjacking people. Our elders and our women are being affected by this greatly. And where are men in this whole thing? Why can't we be the protectors in our own communities? Are we afraid to get together? Are we scared of the young people? Talk black to me today. What is it? You see, we can't say it's for lack of resources, because we have enough resources. But what it seems like we're lacking is the love for one another, the love for our fellow brothers and sisters. Our failure, for whatever reason, to unite. See, our ancestors, again, when they left those plantations after Emancipation Proclamation, they didn't have anything. Yet, they done a whole lot of things with a little money. But here we are today, doing so little with a lot of money. Oh yeah, we got means to do things. What we don't have is the love and the unity to come together and try to figure this thing out. What can we do to make things better in our communities? Let me give you a little data. 1863, we left the plantations. By 1923, Black people in America had accumulated 22 million acres of land. They had, that's 60 years later, 22 million acres of land. They had built 78 banks. They were pooling their resources together. They had started up over 100 insurance companies, as well as over 20,000 other Black-owned businesses. You're talking about starting from the bottom. Now we're here. In 60 years, they were able to do that. All of which they had accumulated in that 60 years was valued at over $150 million in that time, in 1923. Somebody could do the research and figure out how much that will be worth today, but I'm sure it will be in the billions. But now you look at it. Most of our banks have all but gone bankrupt. Most of our businesses, our grocery stores, our insurance companies no longer exist. Right now, today, with all the money and all the education that we have, our people own less than 5 million acres of land. We're talking about 100 years ago, we had 22 million acres. And we started from nothing. And now today we have less than 5 million. How do we get there? How do we get there? My point I'm trying to make is that we have regressed as a people. So much so that we are currently living in our worst times, in the worst conditions ever. Right now today. Why you say that? Why do I say that? Well, just look at it. The majority of our people are living well below the poverty line. Most of our young people, especially, are unemployed. Not only are they unemployed, but they are unemployable. Why? Because most of our young people are functionally illiterate. I'll say that again. Most of our youth are functionally illiterate high school dropouts. 80% of our babies are being born to unwed mothers who are at the bottom rung of the economic ladder. Every 44 minutes in America, a Black baby dies. Every 7 minutes, a Black baby is born to an unwed mother who has had no access to prenatal care. Every 85 seconds, a Black baby is born into poverty. Every 40 seconds of the school day, a Black child drops out. Every 7 minutes, a Black child gets hooked on drugs. And every 4 hours, a Black child dies from gunshots. Want to talk about what happened thousands of years ago? Well, we're going to address these issues that's going on, that's plaguing our communities right now. Right now. Right now. Every 4 hours, a Black youth, doesn't matter about, you see, it used to just be boys, right? Now the girls too. Now the girls too. They're dying at alarming rates. And what are Black men going to do about it? We're going to keep on having pissing contests about trivial matters? Or we're going to do something to, see, because yesterday was my day. I lost my child. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's going to happen to somebody else. My news feed is filled, even before it happened to my child, though. That's why I was doing things to try to stop that foolishness from happening or knocking on my front door. Still did. Yesterday was my day. Today is somebody else's day. Tomorrow could be your day. Every 4 hours. Think about that, y'all. In this country, in America, a Black youth is murdered via gunshots by somebody that looks like them. We're going to have to deal with this. We're going to have to, I don't have all the answers either, but you do. You have some answers. So what I'm saying is, let's create an environment. I want to create an environment where Black men could get together and say, see, listen, and there's no need to recreating the wheel. It's plenty of men that are doing great things in the community already. Some of you all have mentoring programs. Some of you all are doing certain teaching certain things like STEM. Some of you are doing all manner of great things and trying to reach back and teach these young people and help them, because we can't keep pointing the fingers. Can't keep saying, oh, it's this one's fault or that one's fault. At some point, we have to point the finger at ourselves and say, what are we doing? We can't keep beating our chests and talking about we are a leader just because we got a penis. See, a lot of y'all do that. Y'all think y'all a man and a leader just because of your anatomy. Well, where are the results of that? Where's your leadership? In these times of crisis, we need all hands on deck. Listen, we need power. What kind of power? We need power over our communities. Our own communities are being ran by people who don't even look like us. The businesses don't reflect the people who live in these communities. We've allowed Habib and Akbar and them to come in and fry us chicken. We have allowed Sue Kim and them to come in and give our women manicures and pedicures. Listen, we have to control our own destiny in our communities. Our own businesses should reflect our community. See, because that's how, when they don't happen, that's how other people are able to come into our communities and then take them over, what some people like to call or cry about gentrification. Well, what are we going to do to combat it? Are we going to sit up here and just complain about the issue or do something about it? There's no reason why. And then, you know what irks me? It really irks me to see a Black man who has never endeavored to help or work with other Black men to reduce or eradicate the problems and issues in our community. When I see them get up here and they whine about how, oh, the Latinos, they work together and they hard workers. And they get together, they live together, and they buy out the whole block. Why the hell are you not doing it? Why are you not working or trying to work with other men to do those things? And see, that's what I'm talking. That's all I'm talking about, right? Listen, I went to grammar school up north with a Pakistani, and he owns thousands throughout the length and breadth of this country, Dunkin' Donuts, with his brother-in-law, who I also went to school with. They have always disliked each other. Matter of fact, he says that he hates him. He hates his guts, right? But they own thousands of Dunkin' Donuts together. They're able to set aside their petty differences in order to come together to be able to provide for their families. There's too many people that sit up here and say that, that's my friend or that's my buddy. And those same people will not do it. Just baffles me. They won't do anything to try to make each other's quality of life better. A lot of times they're secretly in competition with each other. They're secretly envious of the other one. Sitting around, they hang around waiting for that person to fall so they can show their true colors. At some point, and I don't want to keep harping on the negativity because we all know about the problems and things like that. But what I want to say is we won't have no power until we're united. And we won't be united. We won't have any unity until we start to, first of all, love ourselves and then love each other. See, once you begin to love yourself and the others in your community, then you have some pride. That's when pride comes back into the communities. You look at all these other ethnic communities. You look at Little Village here in Chicago. You look at Humble Park here in Chicago. They're not afraid or ashamed to fly their flag and let you know this is where the Puerto Ricans are. This is where the Chinatown, Little Italy, all these different communities, ethnic communities. And we'll go there and spend our money and say, look at me, I done made it, I done made it. Now I'm able to come down here on Taylor Street and eat at the best of restaurants that they have to offer and things like that. We should be doing those things in our own communities. And let me just say this. It's not like things aren't happening. I don't want to sound like I'm, just being pessimistic here. We do have our own business districts and things like that. What I'm encouraging people to do is let's come together and do more, do a little bit more. Let's give our young people something to aspire to other than to be a rapper. We need plumbers. We need electricians. We need carpenters. Listen, they don't have to necessarily, these kids, and y'all know these kids everybody don't need to be in college. Hey, listen, some children, they ain't gonna even do their homework with you in the house. There's no way they're going down there to Alabama State, down there to Jackson State. They ain't going down there and then all of a sudden turn into a genius. It's just not gonna happen, right? But there are programs and things like that. There are skill sets that you know. Some of you women know, some of the women know how to sew. That's something that young people, tailors make good money. You can make 6 figures as a tailor right here in America. You can make great money. You can make 6 figures. You can chase the bag the right way. Ain't nothing wrong with you wanting to, have some money and have some things. I'm not against that. Actually, I'm for that, because if everybody has things and whatnot, you ain't got to worry about them coming in your house, breaking in your house and taking your things. But we got to have a sense of pride. We have to stop bypassing our own people in our own businesses just so we can throw money at our enemies. Because business is warfare. If all our money and things keep leaving out of the community, how do we build up our community? There are certain keys that we must have to the kingdom of Black freedom. That's love, love for ourselves, love for our people. We must have unity, and we must also have a sense of pride. Be proud of who you are. Teach young people to be proud of who they are. That's why we're having a lot of the things that we're having. You realize young people look at other Black people as their ops? I'm talking about all of them. They look at you and me and all of us as each other's ops. We don't even, and see, we can't just keep blaming them. What the hell have we taught them? If all we do is sit up and criticize them and don't show them the way, don't teach them a damn thing, then we're going to keep getting what we're getting. So men, let's get together. Let's try to figure it out, how we could be better in our communities. How could we be an asset to our people? So I'm going to start having these, I'm going to put us in a space, Black men. I'm calling on all Black men. I used to do these meetings a couple years ago and whatnot. So we can come together and whatever you got going on, if you're doing good work in the community, I want to know about it. If you got a mentoring program, you know what I mean? I want to know about it. I want to come and volunteer. I want to come and help. You know, I'm going to get back into coaching. That's a way for me to give back to young people, teaching them life principles of manhood. See, we talk about a lot of this stuff, man, that these young people are doing is out of emotions. And any man with some sense ought to have sense enough to know that we must never emotionally react. We have to always mentally respond. Graveyard in the penitentiary filled with Black men who emotionally react to situations. Hey man, nothing good is gonna come out of that. You may get lucky a time or two, but that being emotional and being all rah-rah, you got a place for that. Penitentiary or the graveyard. If you're lucky, you might get put in a wheelchair, if you're lucky. We got to be mentally sharp. Teach these young people how to resolve conflicts instead of sitting up here throwing damn gas on the fire, telling these young people to go get their lick back. You have grown adults. See, that's the hate. That's that envy. That's that envy that these older people have for young people. See, because the young people have something that us older people, will never have again. And that's their youth. So they hate that they still got an opportunity to not mess their lives up. They envy that. And so they poison them by giving them drugs, giving them guns, access to guns, and things that they know are detrimental to them. Listen, when my son was murdered, I went before all of his friends. And I told them the same thing that I had been telling them while my son was alive. That this senseless killings in our community need to stop. And there won't be no lickbacks. We won't be getting no lickback. Now, that seemed to bother certain people. They got a problem with me, right? Some old unimportant people. Unimportant. because that's my child. I created him. And don't nobody have a right to tell me what the hell to think or to do when it concerns Diane Juwan White. Just for the record. So I don't give a damn how nobody feel about it. It's my child. He knew how I was and what I stood for. And just because my son is no longer with me doesn't mean that my character has to change. And now I have to sit up here and go along with things that are detrimental to our people. As hurt as I am, as angry as I get at times, we got to do what's right. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this thing up. I've been on here talking a little bit, but Black men, I'm going to create a space where we're going to all get on a Zoom or in a group. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it, but I want to hear from you. I want to hear from us all. Let's get together. Let's try to figure out some solutions, some things that we can do. You know, just volunteering some of our time where we can put together some plans of action that we can take that could change the trajectory of our communities, that could help our young people. All right. Peace and love, everybody.